One of these two teams has been in every NLCS since 2020. Okay. Dodgers were there in 2020, 2021, Phillies in 22 and 23, Dodgers last year. Now one of them will be there again. And yet during that stretch, they have not played in October, which is fascinating because these have been, of this decade, the two NL teams, right? They have dominated the National League this decade, and they have not faced off. The Braves probably belong in that conversation too, but they have not faced off in the playoffs. And here they will in 5 games. During the 6 games they played each other in the regular season, I believe one of the series was like the second week of the year here. I'm about to be in Philly. And then the other one was very recent towards the end of the season with the Phillies going out to LA. There's so much to talk about with this one. Game 1 will be Shohei Ohtani against Christopher Sanchez. It's going to be unbelievable. Then there's the off day on the NL side, so that the series can get off cycle with one another. That will impact the starting pitching, certainly. And then it's Snell against probably Jesus Luzardo. And then another off day, Yamamoto versus Ranger Suarez out in LA. Then maybe Glasnow, maybe Kershaw. I think it'll be Glasnow. Versus Aaron Nola or Walker Buehler or Sanchez on short rest. This is the series. This is the NLDS series that will be a big freaking deal. Where do you want to start in previewing this one?
I am just ecstatic about these pitching matchups. Of course, we wish that Zach Wheeler was a part of this too, and this is where that is really felt. But the Phillies obviously still have an awesome chance because they are able to roll out Christopher Sanchez and Luzardo and Ranger Suarez. But I think that's something I'm thinking about too, right? To have those 3 lefties and how those guys match up against the Dodgers, I think that that's a good thing. I think that is an optimistic interpretation of how this can go for the Phillies, but it is still a difference to not have a Zach Wheeler. The fact that with that off day that the Dodgers could in theory throw Ohtani twice because game 1 and game 5 are a full week apart. But man, oh man, I mean, this is I think really what I'm thinking about is the Dodgers, even in these 2 games, but for much of the season too, the offensive firepower has been on display, right? We know Mookie hasn't had the same season, whatever. The Phillies, the names are in the lineup, but it hasn't necessarily always been a cohesive attack. It's been Schwarber's been the most consistent, but Harper has not always been producing at this season. But we know what Harper's and then Turner, of course, with the injury. On paper, these 2 lineups should be able to match up with each other and just slug like crazy. But we've seen the Dodgers do it more consistently, especially in the postseason. And so that's where, even though I picked the Phillies to win the World Series, and I'm still going to pick them at the end of this segment, I do feel like the Dodgers are, as we said earlier this week, looking way better on paper now than they did a year ago, and that is a scary thought.
So the 3 lefties is very interesting. The Dodgers are fine against lefties over the last 2 months, which is really the roster they'll enter with. They're like 10th in a lot of these categories against left-handed starters. You get kind of an Ohtani bump down. You get not really any of a Freeman bump down. He is just as good against left-handed pitching. You get a small Muncy bump down. And then, Teo, bizarrely, has been horrendous against lefties now for a couple of months, even though he's a right-handed batter.
Had no idea.
426 OPS against left-handed pitching since August 1st. Since July 1st for Teo. 426, I'm going to say that again. 426 OPS for right-handed hitting Teoscar Hernandez against left-handed pitching since July 1st. How will he do against the left-handed starters for the Phillies? Could be a huge part of this series. But really, dude, I mean, it's Ohtani in game 1 making his first career playoff start and leading off, right? He is going to lead off the game.
Pretty cool.
Against Christopher Sanchez. And then he is going to throw the first pitch. Like, we have never seen anything like this in the playoffs. It will be we get a new Ohtani thing seemingly every year, and this will be this year's new Ohtani thing.
Yeah, no, it is really that simple. That is a fascinating note about Teo. I'm chalking that up to small sample because he's been destroying lefties for 10 years. I think
know.
I could totally see him taking one of these guys' yard, but it is an interesting trend to monitor. But no, Ohtani is the story as he deserves to be. Whether he would have to start twice is really interesting. What the Dodgers do also, what both teams do on the mound in a game 4 is also something I'm very intrigued about, especially since we assume it's unlikely this series is going to be a sweep in either direction. So we will see. And yeah, like the prospect of Buehler pitching against the Dodgers, that is very fun. Does Nola even get the ball at all? We will see how this goes. I'm gonna pick the Phillies in 5, but
Me too.
I don't know, man. The Dodgers are so good. This
so
is
good.
it. It's like we finally
so
got
good,
here where we're like, yeah.
I think the off day helps the Phillies more because they have like 4 relievers that I trust.
Mm.
And so being able to run them back with a day of rest, whereas the Dodgers, I guess they have Roki. Like I don't trust anybody.
It's not about the rust
there
because we don't trust any of them. Yeah, that's fair. That's
what I mean.
That's a big part of it too,
so
right?
Like
I feel way better about Duran and those guys instead of anyone the Dodgers are rolling out there. I agree.
Yeah, if the Reds got to the Dodgers bullpen, I think the Phillies might have a chance.
Jake Mintz, let's return to the Midwest. Sorry, San Diego. I am a little bummed that now we have eliminated the possibility of going to San Diego for the World Series. But you know what? I would be thrilled to go to
Jordan?
Chicago or Milwaukee. Yeah.
I would note San Diego's a great city. Love it there. Milwaukee, most underrated city in America. I have never covered a game there. I am just ecstatic about that possibility. Cubs, Brewers won't be at any of those games. That's the Russ Dorsey special.
Sure
but
is.
Boy, oh boy, this is going to hit, dude. This series is going to be sweet. These two teams have never played in the postseason. Okay, a reminder that they have both been bad for much of their histories. Now they did play that one game 163 in 2018, I believe, but game 163 is not the postseason. And this is going to rip so freaking hard. This is actually the series I'm the most excited to watch, and look, I'm not going to come on a podcast and be like, dang, I can't watch Cubs Brewers because I have to be at Phillies Dodgers. My life sucks. That's not the case. But I am excited to watch these highlights back once I get back to my hotel room after these games. Pitching matchups. A lot of Tom Brady's dad in this one. If you are new here, when we see TBD on the projected pitcher list, that is Tom Brady's dad getting the ball. Freddie Peralta will be getting the ball in game 1 for the Brewers against Tom Brady's father for the Cubs. Then an off day, which is important for the Cubs because boy, oh boy, they need to rest these arms. Probably Priester versus Boyd in game 2, another off day. I think the Brewers will do like a 2 innings for everybody type deal. Chad Patrick, Jacob Mizorowski, Robert Gasser. Whoever starts that game is not going to go particularly deep. Maybe we see Quintana for the beginning as well. And then the big X factor here is Cade Horton, right? Cade Horton, who is one of the best pitchers in baseball over the second half for the Cubs, going to finish top 3 in Rookie of the Year. He fractured a rib in the last week of the season. It's unclear how. Is he available? I don't think so. Fascinated to see what kind of role he plays.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, again, we love the Brewers, and as you said, love for them to make us go to Milwaukee later this month. But it's like, and yes, injuries have contributed to this, but when you have the team with a top seed who barely knows who's pitching in game 3 after getting a bye, it's just like, I know it's worked, but it's like that's not the situation that you want to be in. But the reality is, against a team like the Cubs, who's also stretched pretty thin, it's not by any means like, oh, no, they're screwed because they've managed to figure this out. But
Blue Jays have the same thing, and I
was
less
going to
good
say
about
Toronto
their
also.
options.
Yeah, I was going to say Toronto is the same thing, and you could say some of that is injuries. You could say some of that is, Barrios hurt, Bassett hurt, Scherzer is like a total wild card. Although it feels like Scherzer is going to get a postseason start. Whether that's a good or a bad idea, Like, you can sneer all you want, but I feel like if Max Scherzer is on the roster, no matter how many runs he's given up the last few times, I think they're going to let him start. So we'll see about that
Another
anyway. But for Milwaukee,
here,
it's the opposite. You have all these rookies that you could kind of mix and match with.
Sure.
Match with.
Trevor McGill, who was one of the best closers in baseball all season long, got hurt in late August. Went on the IL, I believe it was like August 26th, 27th-ish. Came back, made one relief appearance on the final day of the regular season. Struck out 2 guys and threw 1 inning. That was, I believe, in the 4th inning of that game. What role does he play in the series? That off day could be important because they would probably feel more comfortable with his efficacy with an off day in between, not throwing him on a back-to-back. McGill feels important to me in this one. I am going to take the Brewers in 4. I think they get it done. Does the bit work in October? Who in the world knows? I think that Wrigley is a tough place to drive the baseball when it's cold, right? And the narrative that home runs don't win in October is stupid because they do. All the data shows that. In an environment where it's hard to hit home runs, would you rather be the team that doesn't rely on it, or would you rather be the team that can hit it through the wind? Someone get Petriello on the horn. Someone smarter than us. Still, I'm going to take the Brewers magic in this series.
I think I picked the Brewers in our official picks, but I don't know, man. I feel like the Cubs are kind of going to start cooking here. But we'll see. We will see how this goes. And yeah, I'm with you. And this is the first one. This will start on Saturday, 2 p.m. First pitch from Mr. Freddie Peralta. Very much looking forward to that.